am going to call to order the capital planning committee. I have no idea. It is 7:02 p.m. on April 22nd of 2022. I'm going to read this open meeting law, videotaped meetings. Open public session meetings are subject to being recorded, and we are being recorded, and your image and voice, our voices may be recorded. So we are here with Conservation Commission to hear about funding. Woo!
Yay!
That's our only agenda. Go!
All right. It has changed so many different times.
I might start writing just
right.
so I can understand.
It's how it is in the warrant. So 350,000. So total purchase price will be 1.125 million. This is where it gets confusing because we have purchase price, we have actual purchase price, we have the amount that we're applying for grants. There's all kinds of numbers.
Would you like me to go get copies of the warrant?
No, I pretty much have it memorized.
Okay.
Thank you, though. I'll explain why it's a little squishy. So 1.12 million is what Sudbury Valley Trustees is buying the property for from the property owners. That's a hard number. Sudbury Valley Trustees is doing fundraising and applying for grants on their own for this property. So the likelihood that we have to pay them whatever they raise for this property will come off of the price that we have to pay them.
Okay.
So, but for ease of not complicating things further, I've been using the 1.125 million number.
Do they have any estimate as to how much they're trying to raise and or get grants
They
from?
have committed to at least $50,000, and they have already, on top of that, received one grant for $75,000, and they, last I had heard, had been invited to apply for another grant for $75,000. I don't know if they've gotten that, and out of that money, they'll pay for the new appraisal. They have some due diligence stuff that they have to do for the conservation restriction. So, we're probably looking at $100,000 minimum, and hopefully more. So that's that. We got $490,000 from CPA at the fall town meeting. CPA committee is recommending our application for $350,000 at this town meeting. Conservation Commission is going to use $260,000 of our open space funds, which will leave us about $25,000 in that account. There are going to be legal fees that we're going to incur with this purchase, and so we didn't want to drain it down to zero and then have no money for.
And don't you also cover Miss Vanderbloom?
Exactly. And so until the end of the fiscal year, we also pay for our assistant. So we have to leave some money there to pay Maddie, because she is well worth everything we pay her. She's been amazing. She's the reason I have any sort of hair and haven't pulled it all out. So there's that. So that leaves us, if we don't count the $75,000 grant that Sudbury Valley Trustees has gotten, that leaves us $100,000 short. So we're in the warrant, we're asking for it out of free cash as a loan, so that if we end up needing any of it, it will be paid back through future Solomon Pond Mall mitigation funds, of which we have 5 $50,000 payments left.
Okay.
There had been discussion while trying to figure all this out. So the reason the $100,000 matters at town meeting is that we have to appropriate the full amount at this town meeting in order to apply for reimbursement grants from the state. If we don't have all of the money appropriated at this town meeting, we cannot apply for any reimbursement grants.
Period or
Period.
this year? Okay.
Period. No, because, well, the other alternative would be to wait a full year paying Sudbury Valley trustees interest on the land. So they're purchasing it at the end of August. So the closer we can get to buying the land
At the end of
at the
August.
end of August, the less amount of interest we're going to pay. They will hold us, they'll give us a year, but we're going to pay interest on that. So
Do you know what that interest rate is?
interest rate is going to be 1% over the 6-month bond rate, whatever that will be at the time.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Which people who know what that is have said, oh, that's not a bad rate. So,
Yeah, my guess is that's not a bad
yeah,
rate.
exactly. But it's still interest.
Whatever that means,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's still interest on over $1 million. You know, so that's going to add up. So we would like to avoid doing that.
Yeah.
So really the $100,000 comes into play for the grants. If for some reason we don't get the $100,000, it doesn't mean we're not going to buy the land. It means we're not going to get we don't have any opportunity to get
Grants.
from $500,000 to $750,000 in reimbursement back. So it's kind of a penny wise, pound foolish.
Yeah.
You know, and the reimbursement grants aren't guaranteed, so, which is why, so there had been some talk about if we got any reimbursement grants, that the $100,000 would be paid back out of that. So there's 2 problems with that. The first is, since we're all new to CPA, we're all learning this. CPA, the law, says any grants that are received using on property using CPA funds, any reimbursement has to go back to CPA. First. So that, and I actually thought of this afternoon, if somebody wanted to insist that it was paid back out of reimbursement grants, that doesn't guarantee the money gets paid back, because we're not guaranteed a reimbursement grant. So by paying it out of future Solomon Pond fund mitigation money, it will get paid. Oh my God, no. They're not used to me having meetings on Friday nights. Just turn off the sound. So, you know, by paying it back out of the Solomon Pond mitigation money, that is regardless of whether we get the grants or not. And I believe that's my whole spiel.
That's a spiel.
At the town meeting, are you going to explain this stuff to people so they'll
Yes.
understand?
Yep. I started typing up my.
Oh, okay.
I was
My
going to say,
words
you're going to
today.
need something
Yep.
like, some sort of like flow chart.
Yeah,
or-
it's,
yeah.
believe me, yeah, it's,
Okay.
but I did start working on my
Yeah.
my spiel.
So if SVT gets their grants and their stuff, so it's $100,000 less that you
or
have
whatever
to pay
the
them.
number ends up being.
Right, right. But
Yep.
your estimate at the moment is thereabouts.
Correct.
Does that then mitigate or negate your need for this 100,000?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, so we're not asking for the money to be transferred into our account. We're asking for if we need it for access, but it does need to be appropriated in order for us to be able to apply for the grant.
Right.
And that's really all we're asking for
And
this.
When's the grant application?
The first one is due the Friday after town meeting.
Oh, great.
So that's the MVP grant. And then the next one, the other one I think is due in June.
And can you do them both? Can you win them both?
We
or
cannot.
You just get one?
Yep. So if we get awarded the MVP grant, which is the one that pays more anyway.
Okay.
So that's the one. That's the
That's
one
the
we're
one you
really
want,
shooting
yeah.
for. Yeah. If we get that, we will withdraw our application from the other grant
And when do you hear? How long does the process take?
in the fall.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
super exciting.
Yeah. So, but there are, I just had a thought, sorry. Maybe we should, I don't know if people care about, so there are maps that we will include in our, so the MVP is the Municipal Vulnerability, it's not program, there's something else that is the P, but basically it's helping towns with their climate change vulnerability and saving intact forests are definitely something that helps with climate change mitigation. Intact forests act as windbreaks, they absorb rainwater in a different way, especially
CO2 and stuff like that.
CO2, exactly. So, and where this piece is part of a larger piece, it has even more environmental ramifications for saving it. We have maps that were done by the Nature Conservancy that show flood hazards, that a good portion of this land is important for flood mitigation especially. And there's a lot of money for MVP stuff right now out there. So we're fairly optimistic, but you never know until
Yeah. get
Until
that
you
letter.
try.
Yeah.
so. But yes, there is a fairly good chance we will not need the $100,000 from free cash, but we do need it appropriated.
Is that money available, free cash, or it is? Okay.
I was going to say, I don't remember, but I feel like we have plenty.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, we didn't spend all our allotment.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We have 10 days left. And I don't want to have any more emergency meetings.
I mean, is there anything else I can help clarify? If there's been so many moving parts and so many things that, and really, the Conservation Commission has been writing to this family for over 10 years, trying to acquire this piece. With this included, I should actually know the whole number, but the Mount Pisgah area will be the largest intact piece of conservation land east of Worcester.
Okay.
And, I mean, that's significant.
It is. I'm good. You guys?
I'm ready to vote.
Okay. I make a motion that we vote to approve the funding as defined.
As presented.
As presented,
There you
yes.
go.
Yes.
You talk about $100,000, right?
Yes.
Yes, so
I mean, all of
Really,
it.
for us, well, for us, it's two things. We're supposed to approve CPA funding, even though we don't,
We have no jurisdiction.
yeah, we have no jurisdiction, but we're supposed, I guess I say we're supposed to approve it. We're supposed to vote on CPA funding. So maybe we should separate those things out. No,
Yeah.
do we need to? No.
Just one vote and apply
Just
it to
one
both
vote.
things.
Yeah. So we're supposed to, so CPA stuff, we're supposed to vote about, as well as spending free cash, we're supposed to vote about.
Oh.
I'm gonna put them together and say as described, as presented.
And I second that, how's that?
Okay. Any discussion? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. You're welcome.
A unanimous vote.
Yep.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Nope.
No.
I'm gonna adjourn us. So we can all go home at 7:18.
All right.
Talk about the fastest capital